Everybody, welcome to this week's video. I'm talking to you outside Synagogue Free on Devon Avenue, the epicenter of the Jewish community in the West Rogers Park neighborhood of Chicago. Synagogue Free is the synagogue that provides for our brothers and sisters that came over from Eastern Europe over the decades, and it's still an active Jewish community in Chicago. A quick favor, if you have any ideas, comments, suggestions, critique on these weekly videos, I would love to hear from you. Please share them with me. And now for this week. I'm going to be honest with you. I struggled to find something to share for this week's Torah portion. It is not the easiest around. This parsha mainly talks about sacrifices and the various nuances of the different sacrifices and the sacrifices that were brought for the inauguration of the temple. Not something that we relate to so much nowadays. But I think I have something beautiful that I'd like to share on the opening of the parsha. The Torah begins, God tells Moses to explain to Aaron and to the Kohanim, the priests, that when they begin their day in the service in the temple, they have to light the fire that was on the altar. Now, let me just preface. There were two parts to the Bet HaMikdash, to the Holy Temple, and to the Mishkan in the desert, which was the prototype for the Bet HaMikdash. There was the outer courtyard. The main object in the outer courtyard was the altar, the Mizbeach. It was this big platform with a ramp leading up to it, where they had a pyre, and they would bring the sacrifices that they would burn on this altar, on this Mizbeach. And then there was the inner sanctuary, known as the Kodesh, or in the temple, known as the Heichal. And in there was a special table and the candelabra and the inner small altar, which they burned incense. And in there was an inner chamber, which had the ark. Okay, so the inner and the outer. The outer had the altar where they brought sacrifices. The inner was the menorah and the small altar and the table. So the Torah says, and it's kind of implied, Rashi brings it, the Talmud brings it, that the menorah was lit from the fire on the outer altar. So let's say inner was lit from the outer. Okay, what's going on over here? And there's a deep, deep message that I want to share with you on this. So, the inner, what's the deeper psychological, spiritual idea behind the inner sanctuary versus the outer courtyard, the outer fire? So the inner part is our self-development, our study of Torah, perhaps. We work on ourselves, we better ourselves, we improve ourselves. What is my inside like? What am I like inside? What needs improvement? What needs development? Very important part of being a human being, very important part of being a Jew. Self-refinement, working on our emotions, working on our behavior, working on our inner self, our inner life. And then there's the outer. How do I interact with others? How can I inspire others? How do I behave on the outside? Two very different parts, critical that we focus on both. We need to develop our inner self, and we have to develop the way we deal with others, the way we interact with others, the way we grow, the way we inspire others. Two vital parts of what it means to be a Jew every day. But which is most important, and which comes first? Which inspires which? That is our big question that we're going to answer. Instinctively, we think of life as inside out. I've got to become a better person on the inside if I want to inspire others. I've got to work on myself, self-control, self-mastery, in order to become the person that is suitable to inspire others. The inside inspires the outside. The Torah says no. Of course, you got to work on your inside. The outside goes first. It's the outside that inspires the inside. The Gemara tells us that Rebbe Elazar, before he would pray, he would give charity. He would care about others before he concerned about his own self-development, his own prayer, his own opportunity to connect with God. The Rebbe once told a group of college students, he said, you think that you have to be a big scholar to teach. If you only know the first letter of the alphabet, the Aleph, and you don't know the second letter, the Bet, you can still teach the Aleph. The outside inspires the inside. In fact, the fire from the outer altar, when we inspire others, that ignites our menorah, that ignites our own fire inside. The light of the menorah came from the fire on the outer altar. We gotta make sure that our interactions with the world, our outside expression is being worked on, is being developed. That will in turn inspire our inner self-refinement and our development. That's my message to you today. Everybody can do that job. Everybody can inspire others. Everybody can be charitable. Everybody can do a mitzvah, even if the inside is not there yet. We'll get there. That will inspire us. Have a great Shabbos.